What up? What up? What up? You know what time it is. It's RJ Fantasy Football Talk, and we back, people. You
Hey,
know.
what's up? We got stuff falling apart in the studio over here.
Oh,
But
what y'all doing over there, man? Come on, man.
I don't
Huh?
know. We breaking the set. But
Oh
hey,
God.
what's up?
What we doing over here, man? Come on.
Everything is good though. Hey, coming off a awesome birthday weekend.
Get old, man.
The
Get
producer
old.
and I lived it up in Atlantic City. But I didn't make $1 million on a roulette table, so that's why I'm still back here. Otherwise, RJ would have been done. Like I'm out.
No, you ain't. You wouldn't have left me high and dry like that. You just can't do that.
You would have never seen me again. Like I don't know whatever
I
happened
don't.
to that dude. He just
Yeah, I don't believe that.
he
Don't
went to
believe a
Atlantic
word he's
City, then
saying.
no one could find him. Sold his house. He's I think living somewhere in the Caribbean. That would have been the story, but
Hmm.
it won't supposed to be that way. So I'm back
What?
and ready to talk sports and such. What's been good with you?
Hey, man, just you know how I do, man. I don't do much, man.
Yeah.
Work, scheduling, try to get the stuff going, but just working, getting ready. Season's almost upon us, and just getting ready for it, man. Trying to get my life together with this fantasy football stuff. So you know what time it is.
Yeah, we've gone through quarterbacks, running backs. Today we're gonna do our receivers, and then that's pretty much it. It's game
Eh,
time. Except for kickers. We might have to
We're not. No, no,
do
no,
kickers
no,
next
no,
week.
no, 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 no. No,
I
no. We
know.
don't do kickers around here. We can do linebackers too.
Hey, kickers, linebackers. That is true.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna ask Jay this question, and he. All right. How often do you change your kicker during the season?
It depends on who my kicker is. uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
In some leagues, I try to stay with a kicker, and if I get a really good one, then I'll just I have used the bye week to save a kicker before because I like him
Okay.
so much. But on the norm, I
Okay.
don't care who my kicker is.
The truth is coming out
Kicker
now, people.
is the next to last thing I always get, and for the most part, whoever.
The
And
truth. So the truth is coming out
yeah.
now.
Hey,
Uh,
that's not everybody. That is true. But
So
hey, put it up in the chat on how much love you show for the kickers. While you're there, welcome ATL Flag Football Podcast. Good to have you with
going
us.
on.
Represent for the AT aliens out there. So yeah,
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
yo,
So,
it's been a crazy couple of weeks
woo.
since the last time. So much
Yeah.
happening in the news. I know we put out we're going to talk a little bit of basketball today.
A little bit. A little bit of
We want to start
basketball.
with the biggest of all. I say let's say shout out to Jerry West, the logo
Yes.
passed away at the age of 86. They put a whole logo after you that says pretty much everything you need to know about Jerry West. He was everything
Definitely.
as a player, as a coach, as an executive. No,
Oh, great
did it
executive.
all. Did it all.
He seen one of the great talents of Kobe Bryant when he was like 17. So it's like
Uh huh.
when you have that vision and you can see that and you know that he's gonna be something. That's good scouting. You don't find that too much nowadays with people in general as far as scouting and executives. So
I'd say the Lakers could use a Jerry West right now.
you ain't lying about that.
They
Woo.
tried to get the coach from UConn. That didn't work out, and
Yeah, that's the
they
tragedy, man. That's crazy how that
yeah.
happened.
Can you imagine they try to double your salary and you're like, nah, I'm good. So
I mean, but if you think about the taxes and all that stuff, he thought about the tax. He really probably thought about the team just won't good
and
once you
that's what
take
he thought about. It's like
yeah when you take the first two players off and everybody else ain't good, then yes. So at that point, yeah, I ain't mad at him. I would have.
I, before it even happened, I was saying I hope to God he does not take that job because it's fool's gold. Because look, at UConn, he's won back-to-back championships. They're gonna build statues to this man. He could be there he could be the next Coach K practically, and
He can
just
be there
stay there
forever.
forever and
Yep.
and be loved and endeared. You go to Los Angeles, they will chew you up and spit you out. Look, what's it? Frank Vogel won
A
championship, and then
championship,
they
and they fired
fired
him
him like
the
Karita.
next year.
Like nah, and like you said, that roster. There's a reason they keep hitting the play-in games. They're not that good, and when LeBron James retires, they don't have they're paying him so much as well as some others that they're not going to be able to be good for
Is that
real
a good?
for a
But
while.
honestly, is because the Lakers' job has always been
Yeah,
a so-called great job.
it used to be. Yeah,
But is it a good job now? Is it a job that like people just gonna flock to go
look,
get? I don't think so.
look. How many coaches have they run through since they won that
Oh,
championship?
whew,
Right
at
now,
least four or five
and,
that I
and,
can
and quite
name.
frankly, going back. By the way, welcome Orlando Lewis to the show. I see you. They literally doubled his salary, offered to double his salary, and he was like, "I'm good." So that tells you it ain't a job to flock to. So
Yeah, that's a sad thing I tell you.
hey,
But
I love it because I hate the Lakers. So yeah.
I'm a Bulls fan, so you know how I feel about
And the
that.
one time I couldn't put my full hate into the Lakers was when Phil Jackson was there, just because he's Phil Jackson. Gotta
Yeah,
love
of
him
course.
forever for what he did for the Bulls, but I still didn't like him. I won't celebrate when they won, but I couldn't get
Well,
my hate up like I normally would for the
well,
Lakers.
we know you can get that hate up when you want to now.
Hey,
It,
I'm a
it, it's
hater.
there. It's there.
Hey, we gonna be
Okay.
debuting the hate cam. I'm gonna put out all
Oh
my salty
gosh.
hate
Nah, we
this
know.
season.
We
So
know. All you gotta do is put, non-Raider stuff up there, how they ain't getting no games on TV, and you
hey,
feel
hey,
some sort of way. It's okay though.
that wasn't necessary. We
I'm
going.
That
just,
was kind of low.
That was just
ooh,
like shade for no reason.
it
But
was no shade, but that's the
No, it
hate.
was kind of low
Yeah.
just for you
See,
to say the Raiders didn't
produce,
make hand up game.
producer
So
says shade.
it's like, dang, why you
I
had to go
mean,
there? You could have came with any other
now,
Raiders.
There's a
now
million examples of my hatitude, and that's where you
now,
went.
I
Wow.
did see something on X that somebody said the Raiders finally made the Madden cover because CMC was running, just he was running away from him, like going to
Yeah.
the touchdown. And I just wanted to ask you about that. How you feel about that?
Oh, how do I feel about CMC on the Madden cover? Great question. The curse
Yes.
is active, and the curse is gonna get him. We're gonna ignore that whole
Look,
Raiders part you tried to throw in there.
how,
Yo,
how can you ignore
it's
that?
gonna be
Don't do
interesting
that.
because we've seen players get past the Madden jinx, but for me,
Have
if I'm
we?
Christian McCaffrey, yeah, we've had with
Mahomes
Mahomes.
did.
I knew that was gonna be Mahomes was on the
Sorry,
cover,
but Mahomes was on
did
the
just
cover,
fine.
and
We
was
was
that the year they won the Super
yeah
Bowl?
we
No,
I
no.
can't
So
that's
no. When
yeah
we say when you think about the Madden curse, you
yeah
think about stats. You think about so Mahomes. Yes, they did win the Super Bowl that year, but stat wise, from a stat perspective, it wasn't the best that he did from the year before. It's just like last year, Josh Allen numbers went
yeah.
down from
But
a stat
I'm not
point.
even worried about stats if you can be productive. The fear for the Madden cover for CMC is you're talking about a guy who has a long history of injury problems.
And
He
we talked about
he's
this.
managed to go unscathed since he's been in San Francisco, which in itself is a miracle
Yep.
considering
How
y'all
many times he ran the
y'all
ball?
well as much as he is a part of that offense, plus as
Yep.
much as you guys stay injured. As far as your team is concerned, the fact that he's been healthy the whole time is great, and I don't think he needs to tempt fate being on the Madden cover. But congrats to him. We'll see how it
I
works
mean,
out. I am
I'm
not making
nervous.
him my number one overall pick because no sir, I
I'm
don't
gonna be
want.
honest with you. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous because I think the injury bug just I already thought he was going from what he did last year,
Uh-huh.
it was like and he had a great season last year. I don't think he was gonna do the same thing. But it's just this right here makes it a little bit even more nervous because he's on the Madden cover.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, why y'all put him on the Madden cover? I would have refused. I was like, yo, just don't put me up there. I don't want
hey,
it.
you turning down money at that point.
I don't need the extra $15,000
Yeah.
that I'm getting from Madden. No, I'm good. I take look. I'll find another way to get it, which he got from us. So that extra
Oh,
money is fun.
speaking of stories, hey, welcome Louis Bracy and Deb in the house. It's good to have both of y'all viewing. By the way, everyone, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends. Yeah, y'all just gave for note. Can't pay Brandon Ayuk. We're gonna be talking wide receivers today, but sure enough, emptied the bank again.
Mm.
For Christian, he was
I don't.
already the highest paid running back, and now he's the highest paid running back in the NFL.
I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like the only reason he got paid is because he didn't have any guaranteed money. So he was making 12 million
Right.
this year, and none of it was guaranteed. So I think he went on the thing where I'm the best player on the team, and I need to be paid like the best player on the team,
Didn't
or I
he
need to
get?
be.
Didn't he get guaranteed money before? So,
Yeah,
did he think they were going to fire him at some point this
well,
year?
I don't think they would have cut him. I don't
Exactly.
think
So,
it. I don't think
so,
none of that would have happened.
so
He
his,
just
his
feel
money
like,
was practically guaranteed, even
yeah,
if it was.
he was gonna be on the
Yeah,
roster no matter what. So
exactly.
I just don't understand. I think he's thinking about injury or something. I don't know. I just feel like they gave in to his I'm not showing up the OTA's threat, and 4 days
Right.
later they gave him a contract.
Look,
That's all I'm saying. I
they.
just feel like at the end of the day,
Uh,
they could have used that money on somebody named Brandon Ayuk, who's 25 years
yeah.
old, and in the mix of not in the prime of his career, not a guy who's because he's going to be making $19 million at 31 years old, and we all know most running backs tend to fall off a
Look,
cliff.
every running back not named Derrick Henry.
Henry falls off a cliff
Yeah.
at like 30, 29, 30 years old. They start to fall off a cliff. So I feel like I would have just let him play on the contract. He was still on the contract for 2 years anyway,
Yeah.
so it didn't matter.
They,
So I still would have let him play. He was getting his money.
look,
He was
they,
making
they, they,
$12 million a year.
they gave him Brandon Ayuk's money, and if I'm Brandon Ayuk, you not seeing me at all until I get paid. Hey,
Let me
welcome
say,
Hans C to the show. Good to
what's
have you
going
back.
on?
Yeah, we got to talk some baseball later and see what's happening with Houston and such. But I see the second comment is not sure Lamb is worth a number one pick overall. I
Ooh.
definitely agree with that. We're going to be talking
We was
wide
talking
receivers, so
receivers.
we're good. We're going to see where Lamb comes up. Tyreek over Lamb, dude, you're reading my mind. Tyreek Hill is different, and for me, the last couple of years I've been saying Justin Jefferson number one. It's the Tyreek Hill show for me this year, so he's my number one guy. So I'm with you 1,000%.
Makes sense.
Who
In
you
other
got?
news, we got
You
I don't know if it's newsworthy, but whatever. Aaron Rodgers missing mandatory camp because he said he has other important things to do other than his job, I'm assuming. Um, Unexcused, by the way. So is that bad for the team, or is that more of a okay? It's Aaron Rodgers. It don't matter. He'll be all right type thing.
I don't think it really matters because he's Aaron Rodgers. He's a very experienced vet. He doesn't need any of this per se.
Mm-hmm.
However, considering he played 4 minutes last season, he hopefully will be reporting soon because the Jets are going to be some delusional Jets fans think that they're going to win
when it's
that division and even get to the Super Bowl because now Aaron Rodgers is back.
right.
I'm gonna need you to not be delusional because neither one of those things are happening. We're just hoping Aaron Rodgers for your fantasy teams can stay healthy this year. But missing practice, I don't think is a big deal yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how this keeps going into the rest of training camp and see if it becomes a big deal.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. Honestly, I'd rather him not be at practice or either be there but not practice
Yeah,
because the way he got hurt in
yeah.
the first 4 minutes, I would want him to stay off the field like until week one. Like he's probably shouldn't play preseason. Honestly, I mean,
Well,
does
he miraculously healed himself in like 6 weeks. So
bro, like, do
I
we
think he
really need to
can.
talk about that?
I
Like,
mean,
whatever he got going on in his life, whatever. We not
uh,
gonna touch that thing there. No,
he's sitting in the dark, doing some sort of
widow.
things.
He's weird.
That's
He's some weird
let's
stuff.
say. But yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
Hans. I'm not drafting Aaron Rodgers
no.
with the Jets at all. If he fail, as my quarterback two, I guess if I saw him, I might say, okay, no one wants Aaron Rodgers, but I think someone's going to take him away before I'm willing to, and so yeah,
I
he's
think
off the
Aaron
board.
Rodgers is gonna go earlier than people think, just because
Oh,
of the
he's in
hype.
round 10.
Yeah,
That's funny.
not number 10. No, oh no.
Ooh, okay.
Thanks for clearing that up,
Yeah,
Hansi,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I knew I ain't taking him in no top 10. I
No,
can name 15, 20 quarterbacks better than him. Not to say, I just at his age, in that injury, I think that injury is harder to come back from than people think.
yeah.
Like,
Well, not for
seriously.
him. He's he's Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. He's the greatest in his mind.
Mm,
So
in his mind,
in his
okay.
mind. Yo,
Right.
hey, do we want to talk a little bit? I gotta pull the scores up to see what's going on. NBA Finals. Who, hey, are the Mavs gonna get swept? Do they make they comeback tonight?
I told somebody this before it started. The Mavs, when they played their last series, nobody could. So they had one person to check either Luca or Kyrie. And so Boston has multiple players that can play defense, that can check Luca and Kyrie.
Yeah.
And that's what they're running into. They're running into players that can actually play defense against both of them. Because in the last series, they had either if somebody was checking Luca, Kyrie was getting off, and if it was the opposite way, the other one was getting off. Now you
Mm-hmm.
have Brown, you have Tatum, you have a bunch of players that can check these guys, and it's turnovers. So they got a lot. They get turnovers, a lot of them, and Luca is just shooting, which he's playing well, but
Yeah. Lucas Lucas been
Lucas,
balling. Kyrie has
look,
not been
Kyrie
as
hasn't been
balling.
himself.
Yeah.
But that's because teams are either trapping him or they're playing good one-on-one defense against him. So it's like, now it may change because they're playing in Dallas. Now, from a viewership point, does the league want to extend it 6 games so they can get the viewership? I don't think a sweep hurts the league or harms the league. But does it help them extend it to 5 or 6 games? Who knows? Now, I don't know.
We talking conspiracy. The refs gonna rig it?
I ain't saying that, but I'm
Okay.
just saying it's all about money when it comes to these championships and things of that nature. Now, they should win tonight. They're playing at home. They
You would
have
think
they
if they're not gonna win tonight, they're not gonna win a game. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, we've seen teams that were supposed to get swept, and they gave them one. Not gave them one, but they got one. We got one of those games.
uh,
So, oh gosh.
yeah. I got. I said Steph Curry ruined basketball. Is bored now. I'm actually glad he mentioned that, Steph Curry, because that can lead us into our next basketball story.
Oh gosh.
Um,
Uh,
hey, there's a
uh,
lot of hoopla around. Caitlin
oh
Clark not
gosh.
making the USA basketball team, and Caitlin Clark is the WNBA Steph Curry, according to some people.
Okay.
Did she deserve to be on the team? Is she a top 12 player?
No,
No.
no, not even. She ain't even top 15. And if you're telling me because she scores a lot and she does this, okay, this is the thing. When her liabilities are defense and she isn't physical enough, those are
Oh no.
two things that's hindering her a whole lot.
Right.
And I've watched the game and she literally doesn't play any defense. She got ripped the other night and she just stopped running. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't be mad at nobody else because the rest of your team ain't playing defense when you ain't playing. You need to, if you're the star, you have to set an example.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to set an example to say, you know what? All right, I'm gonna get back and play defense. You can't just be a 3-point shooter. And then let's be real. Like she
Hmm.
turns the ball over quite a bit. Like she
Not
leads the
just
league in
quite a
turnovers.
bit. You're about to say yes. She
So
leads
I
in
mean,
turnovers.
a lot of that stuff because in college they ran a zone. So a lot of that stuff in the league they playing a man. So they play man, woman against woman, 101. And that girl from Connecticut was stopping her in her tracks. And the thing is, the two wins they got, or three wins they
Three
got, one of
wins.
them, the teams haven't won any games at that point. So
Yeah,
it's like
they beat recently they beat Washington. I know they beat
who,
Chicago,
yeah.
and that was crazy.
See,
They're
but
supposed to play again.
that's how it all started, though.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and
that's
then they
how
had one
all
other
of it.
win. I can't remember who it was against right now.
See, but they the whole Chicago thing. The girl, honestly, it was a bad play on her part.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have fouled her because it wasn't a basketball play. But I think and I was telling somebody, 95% of the league don't feel a certain way about Caitlin Clark. So is probably 5% that because if you see it enough on TV and say, you know what, the league is way better now because she's in there.
Mm-hmm.
It, this league been around since 1997.
97.
We've seen Cheryl Swoops and them win back to back to back to back NBA champion. I mean WNBA championships. So I don't understand what it's all about. I mean, so when you see stuff like that, of course somebody's gonna take,
Mm-hmm.
some type of, especially the girl, like she felt a certain way. Like, of course I mean, it was wrong, definitely. It was definitely wrong, but and that's what opened the whole can of worms with all of this.
Yeah.
Now, did she deserve to be on? No, she didn't deserve. She wasn't a top 12 player. Who's she taking off? That's the question.
The most popular name I've seen. By the way, welcome Catherine Bracy to the show. Good to have you joining us. We're going to be talking receivers, but we're doing a few other sports first. A lot of people said you could replace Deanna Taurasi with Caitlin Clark because she has similar or in some cases better numbers, but
Okay.
and that's a producer.
All
Yeah,
right.
right. Okay, sure.
Okay.
And
Okay.
from a number standpoint,
Sorry.
sure, yeah, you can make that argument. But DT's been in the league for over 20
20.
years and been balling,
Thank
leading the
you.
league in three
She
point
was
shooting,
balling
and
in
she's
college.
what I think the committee tried to explain it as best as they could that they wanted to put together the best team as a whole.
So,
And so
so
you
this.
got you got these players that have been playing together for a while. We already know what they can do. So to replace any of them with a rookie would
Mhm.
kind of be an insult to what this team has accomplished in Olympics past. And so for
So,
me,
so
there's only one argument for putting Caitlin on the team, and that's what basically you mentioned earlier. It's all about money. And if you want to, the biggest argument anyone's been making isn't that she's more skilled or she deserves it more. It's that hey, there's a chance to get more eyes on the TVs
there you
if
go.
she's there because she has a really big fan base, which is true. And quite frankly, I mean, you can't argue about the attendance uh, jump that the WNBA has seen. It's been increasing anyway without her, but it took a
Yep.
exponential jump since she's joined. So I'm not going to even argue against that being true. However, if the committee's job is to put together a basketball team, and as they said, not a popularity contest, I think they made the right decision.
So this
Go
is the
ahead.
thing. I seen something earlier on X, right? And it was Stephen A. who I think,
Yeah.
well, I can't take him too much. What he was saying, well, it was on the show First Take, and they was saying that I think it was five rookie girls came out at some point in I guess past years, and they made the USA team.
Yeah.
Now,
But it
now
hasn't
the girl,
happened in
but
several years. I tell them.
but the thing is, the
Yeah.
girl that was it was another anchor girl that was up there. She was talking, and she said, "Well, those girls was on the actual pre-team, the practice team,
Yeah.
the year before. So they had already had chemistry with the players already.
Right.
So that's why they was there. They was practicing with the team already. Stephen A couldn't do nothing but shut up. That's what I'm saying. You trying to? He's saying, and the thing is, he's done the last. It's
Yeah.
just the comments he's making is terrible about. Well, they're wrong because it needs from a marketing standpoint, they need her there and there's going to be more eyes on the team because, if she's there, people are going to be watching. Let me tell you something. People have been watching the USA Olympics before she even was thought of. Like, what are we talking about? So at the end of the day, you're trying to say, okay, money wise, we need this. Man, money wise, we don't need nothing because at the end of the day, people still gonna watch. They still gonna watch. It don't matter. It's like they try to say, well, put her up there like the lead there, Christian Laettner. Okay, so let's think about this, Jay. Okay, for a minute now. How many minutes did Christian Laettner play that year?
Did he get in?
No, he
Exactly.
didn't. He didn't touch the court.
He rode the
So,
tide.
so the next argument would be,
Yeah.
why is she not playing? You see what I'm saying? So you gonna argue to put her on, but then you're gonna say, why is she not playing?
Right.
So it doesn't make sense for real. Like, to me, it's stupid.
Yeah, well, first off, before we go any further, welcome.
Welcome
Shaq
to Third Man.
is here. The third man is joining us. I think he came in specifically for this show because he wants to see where we have Mike Evans and our receiver rankings, and I'm not mad at you. So hang around. Let us know if we get it all right. Did I say Hall of Famer Mike Evans? If I didn't,
Hall of Famer.
Forgive
Hall
me.
of Famer. You gotta give him that.
Where we have Hall of Famer Mike Evans.
Yes, Hall of Famer now.
So yeah, let's see how I do. Stephen A. apparently is the all-time leading scorer at Shaq's high school. Is that what he's saying right
here? Steph.
Okay.
He gotta be talking about Steph because there ain't no Stephen A. Stephen A. averaged 1 point. I don't know how you average 1.3 points a game. I just don't understand that one. But yeah, okay. But and I'm gonna end it on this.
Yeah.
The night that I guess the coach was like, well, they opened or something. They a monster is about to come out of her now. All of a sudden, she went and scored 10 points. And she was 3 for 10, 1 for 6, had 8 turnovers. What are we talking about?
The biggest part of that night is she got benched, along with most of the starters for the
It was down by 30
because they were getting slaughtered against Connecticut, who has been balling this year.
Yeah.
So she basically set everybody except for Aaliyah Boston because she said they weren't putting them forth the effort that you expect. So maybe lesson is learned, and we'll see what they do. But yeah, the monster was sleeping against Connecticut, but it happens against Connecticut. Connecticut's been shutting people down,
oh, God,
so they ain't the first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I leave it at that. I just think
So
I think it's crazy.
The main point for me is country over a person. So these folks that are super duper fans realize, hey, don't root against your country for any one player. Let's keep it patriotic. It's the Olympics. We don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of France. So
talking about boycotting because she's not there. Like, what are we talking about? Are y'all serious right now? Y'all sound stupid saying something like that.
It's a world stage. You're gonna get people from everywhere watching.
Everywhere watching.
Like,
those who like the Olympics are gonna watch the Olympics for the Olympics, not for Caitlin Clark. Because they're only gonna show so much of the women's basketball in the whole gambit of the Olympics. Speaking from someone who's watched it forever, they're not going to show that much basketball where if they don't watch it, the ratings aren't going to matter.
It won't matter that bad.
It don't matter. So
because there's so many events in the summer games.
So
be real, people. Your viewership not that big.
Not a big issue.
But
no, the WNBA finals aren't now. They're actually just about a quarter of a way through their season. So they got to wait. In fact, they're going to be taking like a month break. So it's good for Caitlin that she didn't make the team because she can use that month to rest, hit the gym a little bit so she can be a little bit more physical in some of these situations. So
I would agree on that.
See. Let's be real. She'll be on an Olympic team. Not the first year, but she'll have many opportunities because she's a good player. Hey, we got a couple of fans of Prince and Morris Day in the audience. So, shout out to Good Music. Purple Rain, by the way, one of the best albums ever. So,
Definitely. The NBA finals aren't going on
Yeah, I did. I said that one
Oh, okay.
earlier. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're a quarter of the way through the season, so we're good. Hey, it's about 30 minutes through. You want to start hitting these receivers and tight ends?
Let's go, man.
Oh,
Come
by the way,
on.
our third man says track and field owns the Olympics
It
in the
sure
summer. Yeah,
does.
doggone skivvy, it does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because it's
Definitely.
pretty much a a pre-drawn conclusion. The USA is going to win basketball in men's and women's. So
Hold up, hold up.
it's more
We
of a
don't know.
surprise when they no.
The
The
men are
men be
so.
messing up. The women are not.
Wait,
You're
slow down
right.
now. I mean,
The
the men
men the
The
men
supposed
have
women
to.
will
messed
get
up.
their goal. The men, and we'll see what happens.
The men are supposed to now. Like we gotta.
Uh,
Root, yeah. Yeah. Oh, slow down now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the
Well,
men are supposed to.
the,
Yeah. Let's hit it though. Let's see how
let's
Shaq's feel about this list.
let's go to it. You want to start us up?
Let's go.
Tier
We
one.
got we got the big four. Tier one. Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson. And then the way we're doing it tonight is we're going to include the tier one tight ends also.
Yeah.
So we have Kelsey and Laporta as your tier one receivers slash tight end. Now, on this list, you can't go wrong. My only thing about
Uh huh.
one person on this list,
Just one.
just one, who's throwing the football to Jefferson this
Yeah.
year? That's the question people want to know. Who's throwing the ball to Jefferson? So, me and you, we talked about this,
Uh-huh.
and he said I'm logging on. Don't do us like that. You don't have to do. Oh, gosh, we knew this was coming. But it's all right though. um, I'm just saying, like, is it JJ McCartney?
uh,
Is it Sam Donald? Like, how do you feel about this?
hmm
Like, does does the quarterback situation kind of make you say, I'm
Yes.
gonna stop and draft? I'm not drafting Jefferson over these other three guys because of that.
Look, I love Jets. I've been saying he's the number one pick for the last 2 years. This year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having any parts of it because I don't like Sam Darnold. I don't like JJ McCarthy as a rookie. I think he has some long term potential, but this year is not the Justin Jefferson years. I think that we've grown to expect. But if there's an argument for Justin Jefferson, is last year Kirk Cousins went out midway through the season,
Mm-hmm.
and Jefferson was also hurt for a big part of the middle of the season. When he came back balling no matter who the quarterback was. He had the Pastronaut, I think, was his quarterback for a lot of this. And Justin Jefferson still put up numbers. So I think he's one of those guys. We've talked about whether a guy can make the quarterback look
Mm-hmm.
good. Justin Jefferson is that dude who's going to make him look good. That's why he's still in tier one. But I'm with you. I'm picking some of these other guys above Justin Jefferson. Like Han said before, for me, Tyreek Hill is the number one overall of all of these guys.
Yes,
And
I
as
agree with
long
that.
as nothing changes, I think I have CeeDee Lamb next. Jamar
Mm-hmm.
Chase and Hans also brought this up in the comments with Joe Burrow. Yeah, that's a question mark
Injuries,
because even right
injuries.
now Joe Burrow's trying to get back with his wrist injury from last year, and Joe Burrow stays hurt. Like we when we
Ooh,
talked about quarterbacks about a month I guess ago, you can almost plan on Joe Burrow being hurt at some point during the season. So I put Jamar Chase a little bit lower on this list for that same reason.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like these four. Obviously, the tight ends self-explanatory. You can't go wrong with none one of those guys. Uh, but if I had a choice, I'm definitely going. This might shock you, but I'm gonna say CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee
I'm not mad at
Lamb
that.
is the one and only
Hmm
receiver in Dallas, and
No love for Brandon Cooks.
stop it. What are we doing here? Like seriously, what are we doing? Stop. Um,
Okay.
but Tyreek Hill with Waddle and do I have to say OBJ? Do I
He's
really have
there.
to say it?
I
He's
wouldn't say too
there?
much about him.
Yeah, okay.
Spoiler alert: he didn't make the list
He didn't make
of
the
receiver
list, so
rankings.
but I would think Waddle is gonna get his fair share of touches this year.
Yeah,
Now I've
they better
seen
for
what
what they just paid him.
she you lying about that, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Um, but from what I've seen, they were able to. Well, Waddle got like I think close to 1,400 yards,
Mm-hmm.
and Tyreek Hill got like 16 or 1,700 yards. So they were able to work together
Yeah.
to get those yards. So I don't think it's a big
Yeah.
problem there. I just think CeeDee Lamb with nothing else there, because we know he's gonna get paid at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
With nothing else there, Brandon Cooks gonna get you about 700 yards, 800 yards. But it's gonna be the CeeDee Lamb show. We all know
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I think if I had to choose, it would be CD, because I think CD is just gonna be he's gonna get so many targets, and he's gonna be a target monster that you have to think about going him over the other guys. Jamar Chase, that whole big thing, like you said, with him being hurt on top of Barrow being hurt is another, and they slow starters by nature for some reason. I don't know why they start slow out of the gate like that. So I don't know.
Well, let's talk. Well, first let me ask you this about CeeDee Lamb. Does the
Mhm.
unresolved Dak Prescott issue lean on you a little bit, or you just have faith that that's going to work out fine?
I don't think they're paying Dak.
No.
So I think it's going to be where Dak is going to have to prove to the rest of the league, I'm a good quarterback. Because I think a lot Dallas right now doesn't believe he's worth whatever
Yeah.
money that he's asking for,
And they're right.
and and they're right. They're not wrong for it. It's just right now, at the end of the day, they don't want to pay him. I don't think
Right.
that affects CeeDee Lamb, because I think CeeDee Lamb is going to get paid. Dak is the one, even though Dak is still getting $55 million this year, we can't complain when you're making that much, bro. But
Right.
he wants the longevity contract. But at the end of the day, I don't think that bothers CeeDee Lamb. I don't think he messed it up either. I think he just gonna both of them probably have a good year, and Dak is gone, and
Yeah.
then CD's gonna be with a new quarterback. So, but I think both of them, relative, I think it should be fine for CD. I don't think it's a problem unless he just comes out the gate, not CD but Dak, and
Uh-huh.
they just start off so bad to the point where they have to make a move and put him on a bench. But I don't think they do that either. So no.
That would be a surprise. Um, let's hit another question or comment rather. Uh, Laporta and Travis Kelsey perhaps being drafted too high this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I'm with. Last year there were people making the argument that Travis Kelsey is worth a number one overall pick,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was and no one was going to pick Sam Laporta that high. But this year, based off what they did,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for these guys going high. I would say normally Travis Kelsey first rounder. Last year was his first time going outside of lower than 1,000 yards, but he typically puts up receiver numbers. I
Yeah.
think I wouldn't be mad at someone taking Travis Kelsey or Laporta second round. If you're, especially if you're in like a tight end premium kind of league, where
Yeah.
you get extra points for tight end receptions. I don't know if I wait for round five or later because
I don't think he'd be there at
that's
that point.
not that's well they're not there.
Yeah.
I think what Hans is saying is you go for another tight end. Round five, well, man, you could probably get some good guys in front of her. But the one thing about the tight end position, it's thin. There's about four maybe difference makers for your fantasy football team, and then after that, and I will agree with this part. If you don't get one of those big guys, I always wait for a tight end. You see me wait till like
Oh
round
yeah.
10, 11. Like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I missed. Look, once I missed out on Mark Andrews or Travis Kelsey, and now Sam Laporta,
Yeah.
I'm good. TJ Hawkinson before he got injured. But after that, I'm good. Like, hey, I pick any of these random guys because the truth is, after those top guys, any random tight end is going to give you about the same numbers. So,
I mean, honestly, I think after you Laporta, after Travis Kelsey, and then the second group, I still think it's some ones out there that
yeah,
you can get. You can get later on that, like you
yeah,
say, that are due. Because think about it, I would say tight ends probably 7 through 15 gonna give you
Yeah.
the same numbers. It's
Yeah.
just they may do it different weeks. They may do
And
something
that's the hardest part about tight end. There's very few guys who are going to be consistent
every week.
contributors to their team. That's
Yeah,
really historically Travis Kelsey and no one else. George Kittle, when he gets the ball, it's hard to
yeah.
really
It's hard to really,
it's hard
and
to
that's
rely on. He lost me a championship like 2 years ago, and I still haven't forgotten about it.
yeah.
But outside of those guys, I'm with you. I just wait. Oh, the kid from the Cardinals, he's coming up.
He's
He's
coming up.
coming up. Yeah.
Um,
Before we go to round two, there's another question about. It says Lynch, but I think what the question is about Derrick Henry. Since he said helping the Ravens, gas left in the tank for Derrick Henry. Yes,
yes,
that man is a he is the
yes.
one running back that defies father time. I don't
He
know
ain't
how
lying
much
about that.
longer he can defy it, but
Well,
yeah, he's got enough, and he let. We talked about when we did running backs 2 weeks ago. He wanted to go to Dallas, which would have been a good fit, but the consolation prize of Baltimore was perfect for his running
perfect.
style and for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Marshawn Lynch is big in fantasy football. I mean, now I'm saying Marshawn Lynch, reading the
Just,
question again.
no,
Derrick
Derrick Henry.
Henry is
Yeah.
big in fantasy football. Don't draft Marshawn Lynch in your fantasy football teams this year. It won't go well for you.
No, I think he got something left in the tank, and I think he
Yeah.
might. His career may be extended by a year
Yeah.
in that offense because the threat of Lamar running. I ain't gonna say as much of a passer, but just Lamar on the edges
Mm-hmm.
is gonna be a threat because you can't stack 8 in the box and then try to be leery of Lamar not coming out to the edge
Yeah.
because you gonna kill yourself doing that. So no, I don't. I think he got something left in the tank. So yeah, I do. So
I agree.
yeah,
All right, let's hit this tier two. And third man, if you're still with us, here's where your guy comes in. And these are a reminder in alphabetical order, just ranked in tiers. So don't take this as a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just these guys are grouped together. We got Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison Jr., DJ Moore, and Puka, who surprised the world last year
yeah,
as our wide receivers. I'll wait and I'll let us talk about these, then we'll hit the tight ends
tight ends. That's fine.
up there. So, uh, sorry, Hall of Famer Mike Evans didn't make our tier one, but this tier two group is good. These are all 1,000-yard guys and
Oh yeah,
1,000 plus. I would be mad if I drafted any of these guys and they got me less than 1,200 yards, and easily you should at least get, if not quite double digit touchdowns, you should be in that 7 to 9 range, if not that. So these are stud can't miss guys because everyone's not gonna get that top wide receiver. But if you're doing a zero running back, you could probably end up with two of these guys, and then your squad is nice. So
so
who's the secret tier one guy in this list?
um, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna ask you this question first, and it kind of
Okay.
may does Stephon Diggs hinder Nico Collins, or does he help Nico Collins? Because let's say Diggs is Diggs.
Diggs
We
is
talking to
Diggs.
Diggs
Yeah.
from Buffalo. Let's say he's that Diggs again, and he drawing a double team. Is Nico Collins benefiting from that, or is Nico Collins Diggs being there? Does he hurt Nico Collins or help? Because me personally, I think Nico Collins is
Hmm.
gonna go drafted later than people think.
I think the Stephon Diggs name might have people. I'm not 100% sure, but
Mm-hmm.
since they brought him in, I think some people might say, "Oh, I'm gonna go Stephon over Nico." I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I agree with doing that myself. I'm gonna say no. But these guys are both really good. Nico put up 1,297 yards and 8
Yes.
touchdowns last year, and Stephon Diggs wasn't too far behind with 1,183 yards and 8 touchdowns. And last year was kind of a down year for Stephon Diggs because
Yeah.
they just never really got things going up there. I think there's room much like we talked about Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill last year for both of these guys. I think
Yeah.
who really hurts in this group is Tank Dell,
Yeah.
who was
Yeah.
until he got hurt, he was a really big part of the offense. I think his numbers fall back, but I think Nico and Stephon Diggs will be able to put up big, at least 1,000+ numbers in this offense. I think
I
the
would agree
big
with that.
benefit, of course, goes to C.J. Stroud because
Oh,
they
yeah,
they just
that's
made
a
this
whole
like
nother
super
thing.
easy.
Yeah. Now my I think Mike Evans, for Shaq's purpose,
Hmm.
I think Mike Evans is gonna do Mike Evans, what he
Yeah.
always does. It's this might sound crazy, but it hinders on Baker, making sure Baker stays within Baker because he got paid now. But I think Baker is gonna realize at a older Baker, he realized who's his guy, and I
Hmm.
think Mike Evans is gonna be. He's gonna do what Mike Evans normally does: 1,000 yards, 10 touchdown.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of feel like he's good now. As far as
Uh,
Puka, now does do we see the old Cooper Cup in this Rams offense, and does that affect Puka in any way?
I'm a Cooper Cup guy and have been. By the way, we'll get to this point. Shaq said it is a large tier,
It
and
is.
these wide receiver tiers. Just a spoiler alert again. It's gonna be. Here's the question: How many wide receivers went over 1,000 yards last year?
25.
Huh?
25.
28.
Oh,
20,
I was off, but I knew it was in the
yeah.
20s.
Well,
So
I'm
yeah.
counting. I'm counting tight ends in my number as well.
Well,
So
if
let's
you're
see. If
thinking
I take out the tight ends, let's see, that's Kittle went over, right? Uh,
Kittles and
let's see
Laporta,
who else.
was it Laporta?
Laporta.
One, one,
But the point is, nearly 30 guys went over 1,000. So these tiers are gonna be big because you're gonna get very similar production from them. I can sense the feeling that maybe Puka and Nico being younger don't belong. But this is not a body of evidence over a
it's
career
just
tier.
from
This
last
is
year.
just from based on what we saw last year and what we expect to
Hmm.
see this year. And look at Puka's numbers and tell me he doesn't deserve to be in tier two with Mike Evans. And I say sorry, can't agree with you there, third man. Uh, these wide receivers, the way the NFL has changed, these guys are going to be putting up huge numbers, and it's really hard. And that's I think the beauty of this for fantasy football is you can miss your guy and still end up with
Mm.
a really good guy. That's why for me, wide receivers, I still I like the concept of this zero running back strategy, but for me, I'm more of a hero running back guy. I want a big running back because there's very few of those guys. And then
Yes.
and like I said, there's so many of these interchangeable wide receivers. I'm picking them up by the dozens later because you can miss on the first few of those and still end up with 1,000. It's hard to not have 1,000 yard receiver on your fantasy football team the way the NFL is structured right now. Like I said,
Of course.
25 or 26, whatever the number is, got wide receivers over over 1,000 yards this year. You kidding me? If you don't go over there,
I mean, because
yeah.
like I think I don't know if you get the same Cooper Cup honestly this
For me,
year.
no. I
I
think
think
Cooper Cup.
Puka is your number one. I think they kind of handed the reins over
Coop,
to him.
look at Cooper Cup. I love Cooper Cup. I forgot that's where we started from. Cooper Cup really had that one phenomenal season where he blew the
Hmm.
doors off the league. Every other year of his career, even the ones he
Yeah,
was fully healthy for, he's been like just over 1,000
that's
between
true.
1,012. Like that's really his peak. You just one anomalous year where he went like bonkers. He doesn't belong, I don't think, in this group for what at his age. But
No, I agree with you.
yeah,
If you go back and look at the numbers, I do agree with you on that.
yeah,
Now as far as now, I want to talk Brandon Ayuk for a minute, right?
of
Give me
course
two
you do.
seconds.
By the way,
Just
Brandon
give,
is
give me.
Han's choice of maybe I think he was talking about the potential tier one guy, him or AJ Brown.
Because
But go, tell
that's
us about
so.
Brandon.
These are my questions. This is my
Yeah,
question for you because it's got to be some of these guys who can jump in that tier one. It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Tier one is pretty small, honestly, as far as receivers, but
Yeah.
it's got to be some of them that can jump into that conversation. And I think Amon Brown can jump into that conversation.
Definitely.
But Brandon Ayuk, for people who don't understand, Brandon Ayuk was a fourth option on his own team
Mm-hmm.
and led the team in receptions and yards and touchdowns and things of that nature. So if he goes to another team or even
Mm-hmm.
you say Pittsburgh somewhere, right? He
Right.
goes to Pittsburgh or either Jacksonville or whatever. He's a potential 100 reception type of receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He had nearly 1,400 yards last year, but let's say 1,600 yards type of receiver if in a different system. So personally, I feel like if I ain't mad at him not getting his money. Like I'm mad he needs to get his money, but if he don't get his money from San Francisco, get it from somewhere else because what you're gonna get is you're gonna get paid what you're worth,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get your work in any other offense. And bro, I just feel like by not paying him, I feel like trade him and trade us to where we can get paid and get that 100 receptions because he's a 100 reception guy,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Now,
Another one of our constant or regular guest on the show is Dent, and you lost some money to him last year, by the way. But
always,
I
it's
had a
okay.
fantasy football conversation with him, and basically, my thoughts are Brandon Ayuk on any other team
Yeah,
is top 3 wide receiver in the league because he's that talented. He's as Hans said, Brandon Ayuk is him. In the 49ers system, he has
he's
to
not.
block too much, and he's gonna always be like say he's not even the first option despite his talent because they're gonna go to of course CMC is what 70% of y'all offense last year. I can't remember the exact number.
Yeah,
It was some
70%.
bonkers number that Christian McCaffrey accounts for, and so he's never going to be a first option on another team where he is the first option. Brandon
Yeah.
Ayuk is that dude. So
I
it
mean, just
would be.
think about it this way. Brandon Ayuk averaged, they say he averaged four targets or
Yeah.
5 targets a game last year. Christian McCaffrey averaged 6 targets a game last year. And that's from the running backs position.
Mm-hmm.
So that tell you, and we ain't even thinking about Debo and Brandon and Kittles and all these other guys who getting the 2 and 3 and 4 5 receptions a game when this guy is literally not even getting if he got 10 targets a game, just say he got 10. And out of those 10, he maybe caught six or seven. He would be an elite receiver every week because he's getting a steady dose of targets every week, and then he's not getting that. So
Right.
not compared to all these other receivers that's on this list, and he's on this list with just 75 receptions. Most of these guys got 100 receptions.
Yeah.
Most of them, I would say, yeah, most of them, yeah, all of them do actually, except Marvin Harrison,
Yeah.
which I think he gonna get that anyway because they have nobody else to throw to.
Yeah, if there was a guy who maybe shouldn't be on this list, it would be him only because he's a rookie. But trust me, he's gonna be on this list because,
Yeah,
like you say, he's who is he competing with on that
nobody,
team? Michael
not
Wilson. Okay, cool.
just yeah, nobody. Exactly.
Yeah, I get the point of hey, I'm the one that's always saying you got to do it. I'm not a big rookie guy, but I'm a big Puka guy because Puka was unworldly. I don't think that changed. The only thing that might scare me from Puka is Matthew Stafford being injured, and then maybe the numbers go down. But if Stafford's healthy,
Stafford's there, yeah,
that
he'll
that's
take
that's
care of.
gonna be a baller. Let's hit the second part of this tier 2 list, which has all the tight ends on it. And again, once you get past the first 2 tiers, really, you're not gonna have top guys. So let's hit these ones. Tier 2, these are all tight ends: Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid, George Kittle, your guy, Trey McBride, who was mentioned earlier, that young guy from Arizona. David Njoku finally produced after years of
Yes,
disappointment. He finally had a really good year. Kyle Pitts, who disappointed since
Ooh.
his rookie year. But change of coach,
But
people are expecting a lot of change, and with Kirk Cousins being there, hey, Kyle Pitts might come back and be fantasy relevant again. Um,
ooh,
yeah. Um,
sleeper. Boy, he's a sleeper.
who's your favorite tight end in this second group? And if you're not going to get Sam Laporta or Travis Kelsey, is
See,
it
but
is it
see,
is it
see this
is
this the question. Like Hans said, like you probably can wait because
no?
if this is your
These
this
guys aren't
this
going before round 3, maybe round 4 even, unless it's like a tight end premium
I
kind of
mean
league.
Ingram, like
Ingram,
Ingram had a
I
hundred
don't, I'm not.
receptions last year.
Yeah, I'm not buying that though. Honestly,
How? He had 100 last year. He had
yeah,
90 something a year before that. It's like you gotta buy that. They have nobody else to throw to.
they did get rid of Calvin Ridley, but they're putting Gabe Davis, so
Wait, really? We're
no.
gonna talk about Gay Davis? No, we're not.
Yeah,
Um, Ingram surprisingly
yeah,
has been really
since he,
good in
yeah, I'm about
Jacksonville.
to say since he's been to Jacksonville, he's been a really good.
He's been really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I can't
Yeah.
argue about that.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell
I
you my
hold his
sleeper is
Giants
though.
days against him because I thought he was going to be good
Nah,
then. But yeah,
you can't throw them. You can't do that. Kincaid really is, to me, Kincaid probably is the sleeper, and I think Cal Pitts is. I
yeah,
think Cal Pitts is going to be really good because a lot of people say Cal Pitts ain't good. Okay, Cal Pitts had 1,000 yard season. I know that doesn't sound great because he did it a couple years ago,
yeah.
but if you think about the coaching, but not coaching, yes, but if you think about the quarterback situation was horrible. I mean, couldn't get him the ball or nothing. And I honestly, in my personal opinion, I think they use Kyle Pitts wrong.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Kyle Pitts needs to line up on the outside a lot
Mhm.
more because Kyle Pitts at Florida was a receiver
Mhm.
before they moved him to tight end because he had to play tight end to get in the game. So that's why he adjusted and moved
Yeah.
to tight end because he wanted to play. Now, for me, Cal Pitts would be on the edge. He will be playing in that slot. He will be playing that wide receiver X or something because at the end of the day, he's built like a receiver.
Mhm.
He is a receiver. He just plays tight end.
Yeah.
I think with Kirk Cousins out there, and Kirk Cousins is gonna make a difference whether you like it or not. If you go
Oh
back
yeah.
and watch any of Kirk Cousins' tight ends, Hawkinson, any of those guys, he's always through to his tight end, even back to his Washington days.
Right.
So he always had the tight ends always put up good numbers when he was a quarterback. So I think definitely KK. I think Cal Pitts is a sleeper. Now David Njoku is that's one that's a little head scratcher for me
Yeah.
because he did it with a different quarterback.
Yeah.
He didn't do it with the current quarterback.
He did not.
So are we gonna get the same Njoku? That's the question people want
We'll
to
find
know.
out.
Now, based on last year, you got to put him on as a tier two because what he did. But is Deshaun Watson looking at him this year like last year? That,
I don't know. I'm not going there. I'm with Hans. I'm going McBride because, like we said before, who is there to throw to
yeah,
in Arizona?
yeah,
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride are high. And Trey McBride was balling at the end of last year. He got off to a kind of a slow start, but once he got because Zach Ertz was there at the beginning of his career, but once Trey McBride got the ball
yeah.
consistently, he's a baller. And I actually had him in our dynasty league, and I gave up on him to grab. I had the googly eyes for a different tight end, so I let him go. Now I wish
Lord
I
have
could
mercy.
get Trey McBride back because
Yeah,
I think he's gonna ball. I actually like your guy George Kittle as a tier two. Even though he hurt me, he lost me a championship, like I said 2 years ago. But I think he's gonna. And I'm also hoping and even though it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, that they decide to do something with Brandon Ayuk slash Debo before the season happens. In which case, hey, that just opens it up more for George Kittle to do stuff. So
I
those,
just
those are
think
my those are my favorite guys. If I don't get
he's
any of those guys, then I'm dropping out of the tight end race, like we said before, and I'm gonna just pick up another guy much later.
how do you feel about Mark Andrews?
I love Mark Andrews. I have
I
Kittle
mean, he's
they
not
say it's
lying.
fragile, but I feel Mark Andrews can have some of that same issue. How many games did Mark Andrews play last year? Like
He
10
missed a few.
or something
Yeah,
like that. I can't remember the exact number. But I like Mark Andrews, but he's another guy who we talked about being able to do it consistently. For tight
yeah,
ends, the only one that's ever done it consistently, uh, of active players, that is, I'm not going back too far,
yeah.
it's Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey is the only one that you can look. Last year he missed 1,000, but he only missed it by like 16 yards. He would have gotten it, but he decided not to play in that last game because he was better. He thought just to forget about the records and be ready for the playoffs. I see another vote coming in for Kincaid from the third man. Um, his rookie year wasn't what a lot of people expected it to be, but rookies, except for apparently Sam Laporta and Kyle Pitts a couple of years ago, rookie tight ends don't generally put up big numbers. There's a rookie tight end that might put up some big numbers this year. He's going to be coming up later in
I
our
mean,
group.
but Kincaid, when he did get in the
Yeah,
game, he did work.
he can play, and they
So
got rid of Stephon Diggs, which only
yeah,
opens the win because we talked about the wide receiver situation, and if you notice, we haven't gotten
because
to a wide receiver from Buffalo yet, but
you
we
ain't
do
gonna
have
get
a tight
someone.
end
Lord have
there.
mercy.
So yeah, there's that. Kincaid should have a really good second year.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Yeah.
I really do.
Uh,
But the thing
let's.
with Kittles,
Oh
Kittles
yeah,
is too
he's fragile.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
It, yeah, not even fragile. You don't know. He may get a catch, one catch here, but he may get five catches the next.
Yeah.
It's never on a consistent basis where you can rely on them. It's just like we said earlier. Now it's only if you get production from a tight end every week,
Yeah.
it's only a few tight ends that's doing that. Now you're going to get the same numbers from most of these guys because a lot of these guys, except like Kincaid, you got McBride, who they're probably the second option
Yeah.
on that whole team. Kincaid might be the number one option to be honest with you because they have nothing to throw to. So I ain't saying nothing like that. They have
Yeah.
receivers, but they
No,
just
they don't.
they're not as good.
There's
But
Marvin
Kincaid,
Harris and there's Trey McBride.
McBride,
There's
yeah,
nothing
that's
else.
it. But
But yeah,
Kincaid they have nothing. Like nobody, no receiver that's gonna say, you know what? Oh Lord, we need to get this guy the ball. Okay, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Hans, stay tuned. That other Bills tight end is still on the team, and he's going to come up later in our group. Let's hit these tier 3 guys.
Let's go. We got Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Devontae Smith, Jaden Waddle, Garrett Wilson. And then tight ends is Brock Brawler, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goddard, TJ Hawkinson, and Dalton Schultz. That is your tier 3 slash receivers tight end. Um, who you got on this list?
Um, I'm trying to make sure everyone can see the list. We'll go back and forth between the two. Um, I really like let's see. I might go Chris Olave as my favorite guy on this list, and
Okay.
that's on the assumption that Derek Carr is going to be able to
throw,
get the ball. I know I keep coming,
throw,
no matter
throw the
how much
ball,
he
throw,
hurts me, I keep going back.
still go back to, oh
I keep going
gosh.
back to Derek Carr, but that offense started looking good at the end of the year, and I think there's a chance that they can do something special. Um, of course, I love DK. DK is that guy who also
Yeah,
puts up big numbers all the time. It's like we said before, Stephon Diggs should be good. I love Amari Cooper. I don't know how much but much to your point about Njoku
yeah,
with Deshaun Watson coming back. I don't know whether I can expect, but Amari Cooper's been producing for years.
yeah,
They
yeah.
also brought in Jerry Judy on that team, which should make that offense better. I think if
Okay.
Jerry Judy can ever live up to the hype. Um, yeah, those are my favorites. I know you're a Pickens guy. Is that going to be your pick on this group?
I'm a Pickens guy. I like Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you one who I think is gonna kind of. I'm gonna say Terry McLaurin. I think
Okay.
with that rookie, because think about it, McLaurin has had bad quarterback after bad quarterback, and I looked at his numbers the other day, and he's had 4 seasons of 1,000 yards consecutively, which is crazy to think because
Hmm.
the quarterbacks that he has played with is kind of crazy to me that he's been productive every year. Not saying because 1,000 yards nowadays is really nothing. Now I
Yeah.
think he's going to do more than 1,000 yards, honestly, this year. Because I think that rookie, because all they're gonna do is throw, because they're gonna be losing.
Hmm.
So I think he's gonna get a lot more opportunity this year. So I think Scary Terry is definitely one. Um, Obviously, I'm a George Pickens fan, but I'm gonna tell you one. If he can stay healthy, Garrett Wilson is gonna be
Yeah.
if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy.
And
That's the
that there you
biggest
go.
thing.
That's
That's the biggest thing. But if you think about Garrett Wilson, the last 2 years and what quarterback he played with, Garrett
yeah.
Wilson has did 1,000 yards two
With
years
trash.
with trash quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 95 to 100 receptions, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact number, but I know he's been in those like 90 plus receptions. Even last year, going through what, two, three quarterbacks last year,
Yeah.
he still did 90 receptions and 1,000 yards. So if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy just a little bit, I think you're looking at. You remember when we used to say Aaron Rodgers only throws to one receiver, and he used to be like, Rodney,
You
stop
used
hating.
to say that, yes.
He did. He did used to throw to one receiver,
Uh-huh.
and that was Devontae Adams the whole time.
Uh-huh.
This could be a situation where he could just be that Devontae Adams, honestly, and he would move from a tier 3 to a tier 2 immediately, just off the strength of that.
I like Garrett Wilson as a wide receiver. He won the rookie offensive rookie of the year. He's really good. I don't
Mm-hmm.
trust the Jets. I don't trust the system. I don't
It's
trust Aaron
just
Rodgers
nothing.
anymore.
Uh,
Give me Jalen Waddle for my money if I'm gonna
Oh
get a wide
no, I
receiver.
love Jalen Waddle, but if you're
Yeah,
asking me a sleeper,
yeah,
because Jalen Waddle gonna go before Garrett Wilson.
yeah.
But if you look,
Maybe I don't. Yeah,
yeah, he will. More stable. It's a stable situation, stable quarterback, stable offense. So it's definitely a better situation for Waddle than it is Garrett Wilson. The
yeah.
biggest problem is, can Aaron Rodgers stay healthy? If Aaron Rodgers stay
Nah,
healthy, then it's no problem there.
yeah. I'm not
I don't.
I'm not betting my fantasy football team on it. But I mentioned that there was a tight end on this list who's a rookie who could have a big year, and that would be young boy Brock Bowers. I know I'm a Vegas guy, and I have a bias towards my team, but here's the deal: we did
Okay.
not get the quarterback that we were supposed to get. So what
Okay.
they did in exchange was to say we're gonna have a mediocre quarterback, and that's Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. Neither one of them are great. We
Mm-hmm.
need to put some talent around him, and Brock Bowers is essentially going to be a wide receiver. Because Devontae Adams, who we mentioned earlier, is going to be great. Jacoby Myers was great last year; he'll be good, but he's a two. Brock Bowers is going to be something special in this offense. They drafted tight ends the last 2 years, and I think there's room for both of them. But Mike Mayer is probably going to be more of a blocking tight
Blocker.
end with the occasional contribution to the offense. Brock Bowers, I'm not going to say he's Sam Laporta of this year, but he might be just about as close as you're going to get. So if there's a rookie out there at tight end that's going to make a contribution, I think Brock is the guy.
I mean, that was a little homish, by the way.
Oh
Just
no,
to let you.
it's complete homerish. But
I just want to
but
say
look,
that.
just because it's a homer pick doesn't mean it's wrong.
I just wanted to say that was a little homish pick, but okay. Um, Jake Ferguson is for me out of the tight end group because if you're
Mm-hmm.
telling me C.D. Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson, I'm gonna go C.D. Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon
Mm-hmm.
Cooks.
I'm not mad at
Uh,
that.
because I think Jake Ferguson is a better better player at this point of their careers than a Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to contribute, but he's
Oh yeah,
not going to be that number two receiver that they hope he is. I think Jake Ferguson is going to be the second leading receiver on that team
I'm
from
not
the tight end
not
position.
gonna argue against that. Yeah,
So I would go Jake Ferguson to be honest with you. I like you, boy, because y'all have nothing else to throw to other
this is
than
my point.
yeah. But I'm scared of I'm scared of TJ Hawkinson, but I'm not scared of TJ
The
Hawkinson.
the injury is the reason to be scared.
The injury in the quarterback position, those it's just like Jefferson
I think the
to a lesser
bad
degree.
quarterback might actually be a
Yeah,
benefit because hey, even, especially if it's JJ McCarthy, rookies love tight ends because they're big targets and they're just aren't. And Sam Darnold might as well be a rookie. He's horrible.
oh
Uh,
gosh, bro,
so
really?
yeah,
Why they got to do that? Why they got to play that? If anything, play JJ. Just play him out of the gate. I mean, he may not be ready, but you only can get ready when you're playing. That's how you get ready. So I think, but I also think Addison's going to take a lot from Hawkinson
yeah,
too.
because
Uh,
he might not even be there. But continue.
but I mean, Addison may because he's going to creep. He's going to get those targets too. I just think the quarterback is the biggest flaw for them. That's why a lot of those guys. Now, if Kirk Cousins was still there,
Mm-hmm.
Hawkinson is way up higher, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Even with injury, he's way up higher. So, and I think you wouldn't have had that conversation about Jefferson being okay. Is he going to be good because of the quarterback situation? But with that, no. I mean, I still think Hawkinson's good. I still think if you just don't want to draft a tight end down the line, he'll be available for you,
yeah.
and I think he'll be serviceable
He'll be
too.
a. I think he's going to be available mainly because of the injury, to not knowing whether he'll be ready for the start. But I will see
Mm.
if you're going to go for Hawkinson. I would. It sounds crazy. Maybe grab N'Keal Harry near the end of the draft. They're converting him over from a wide
To
receiver to a tight end.
to a
He's been
tight
picking
end,
up some weight, so
yeah,
just a little insurance policy for yourself. I don't think you're gonna
yeah.
really have much fear of anyone trying to grab N'Keal Harry probably on their own. But if you have Hawkinson,
Hmm.
you might want to handcuff him with that just to see how it works out. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that, but
Mm.
pro tip.
It's off season.
Yeah.
It's
I know, right?
the
We'll see.
off season
Oh
we're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. I see. Hans mentioned it. Zach Wilson. Yeah, he went to Denver.
Denver.
So he's gonna lose his job to Bo Nix. So
Boy, Lord have mercy.
let's hit
Woo.
tier 4. Is it me?
Yep.
I think it's me.
It's you.
All right. So this one also got split into two. So I'll start off with the list with Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown, Tank Dell, T Higgins. Still waiting for his contract to come through. We've got Cooper Cup on this list. Drake London. We talked about Atlanta being potentially much better with a new coach and a new quarterback in the building. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully, good for Drake London. Michael Pittman Jr. is on the list. Jaden Reed in the second year in Green Bay. They've been building something nice on that list. Then we have Calvin Ridley, Debo Samuel, and then the rest are tight ends. And by the way, this is the end for tight ends. So at this point, your tight end sucks.
Yeah.
And they might even suck in this list, but some of these guys might be good fill-ins in case of injuries or whatever. But we have Pat Fryermuth, who was hurt most of last year, so he didn't really
Always hurt.
produce a lot. Hunter Henry, Cole Komet, who actually looked pretty good last year in moments. Dawson Knox was the tight end for Buffalo
Other
that
tight end from
also mentioned
Buffalo.
earlier. Isaiah
Hmm.
Likely, who filled the ninth when Mark Andrews was hurt. And lastly, I mentioned before, two good young tight ends in Las Vegas, Michael Mayer.
This is a tough list here. No, it ain't.
At this point, just so the audience knows, not only are we done with tight ends because everyone after this sucks, your wide receivers are like almost completely interchangeable after we get past this. For these guys that we listed are still potential to get you 1,000 yards because so many people can get 1,000. Like you said earlier, 1,000 yards doesn't really mean what it used to
Might
mean.
be, yeah.
But these are your potential, but not guaranteed 1,000 yard kind of guys. But you should at least get about 700 to 900 yards from anyone on this list if you can't get the 1,000 from them. But who's the guy we slept on and have too low in this
Uh,
tier?
I'm gonna say Drake London is one. Because I think with Kirk Cousins, I think you're gonna see a big jump for Drake London.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think so.
Michael Pittman Jr. is another one. I
Yeah,
think um, he's gonna be slept on. And you know who always gets slept on? Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk gets slept on every year. But even when he signed that big contract that year, people was like, "Why is he getting all that
yeah.
money?" But he's actually done well.
He did well since he's been there.
Yeah, he's done well, which is crazy. So those are my three. Um, maybe a super sleeper, maybe Marquise Brown, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe in Kansas City, but that's a maybe. And then I think Keenan Allen just gonna run into a problem where it's just too many mouths to feed,
it's a
and
lot of mouths to feed, and
it's not gonna be enough. To
it's
be
a
honest
rookie
with you.
quarterback. And
Yep.
so, as good as this rookie is supposed to be, I think it maybe is a somewhat down Keenan. I was happy because I'm drafting Caleb Williams that Keenan Allen is there to help
Hmm.
Caleb Williams develop, but for fantasy purposes, he ain't Justin Herbert anymore. So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Uh, what is what is your feel on Calvin Ridley in Tennessee?
they draft did not draft it, but they brought him in as a free agent because they're looking to the future. D Hop only has so many good years left in him.
Okay.
Even though he produced last year, but they need. We talked about quarterbacks needing wide receivers to make them better.
Oh gosh.
They Will Levis needs some help, and so I think he is. I think it's a good pull in for that team. If I had
Okay.
to take my guess, I would say I still have Nuke being the number one, and Calvin sort of like with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley was like 1A, 1B with Christian Kirk. I think it'd
Yeah.
be a very similar situation over in Tennessee. Only for me, the quarterback is worse. So I don't know how that
The
one
quarterback
A
is
one B.
worse.
Hey,
Uh,
he is for certain
oh
not
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, and even Trevor Lawrence has only been so.
Yeah.
Um, I do know the coach was in the news recently saying we're so happy that we have Calvin Ridley because we got him from a division rival.
I
Um,
seen that earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I would have I would have Calvin Ridley, but for me, I don't want him any more than and that's what these guys are at this point. My third wide receiver, I'm comfortable with that because at this point, these guys are not too different. My favorite on this list, actually, I'm gonna agree with Hans. I like Jaden Reed. I have him in a dynasty league, and I think he showed a lot of talent last year. Of course, I do like what you said about Hollywood Brown. He's not lived up to the Hollywood nickname
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
career, but he's never had Patrick Mahomes,
And
and
that's see, but
and
that's the
that's
way.
the one selling point, especially with the
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice situation, not knowing what that suspension potentially
Yeah.
could be. I think, look, if Marquise Brown doesn't get 1,000 yards this year, he never will. So
I mean, if this is my thing, if Juju can be halfway successful
exactly,
in that offense, Hollywood has to be somewhat successful. Um, I just don't. He just hasn't done it.
yeah,
Yeah, he hasn't done it for me.
he
And
hasn't.
he, you can blame it on the quarterback situation. I mean, but the first quarterback he had was trash. He had Kyler Murray after that. I mean, we can talk about Kyler Murray,
Hmm.
good or bad, indifferent, whatever. But with Patrick Mahomes, he should be. Now I'm saying he
Yeah.
should be. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be the number one receiver because I think the quarter. I think
I think he potentially could be,
the,
but the
the
thing with the Chiefs is you never know week to week who the number one receiver will be. You know Travis Kelsey would be the number one target, and then they kind of switch it up a
yeah.
lot between the other wide receivers.
I think Worthy is gonna be the number one receiver. If Rasheed, based on whatever happens to Rasheed Rice, obviously,
Hmm.
if he gets suspended or not, I don't know. But Rasheed Rice should be the number one receiver. If we were talking
Based
last
off
year,
last year, he should be.
yeah, he should be the number one receiver. But I think Worthy because they're trying to stretch the field
Yeah,
uh, back to going to stretching the field. So I think Worthy may take that role. It's just I don't know. Hollywood Brown is just
he just
it's
never
like a
been.
yeah, it's never been
Yeah.
lived up to nothing. So I don't know. And then like Debo is another one because me
Hmm.
and you talked about it last night, and we were saying like 'cause we had a conversation about moving Debo up and down.
Hmm.
And but when you go back and look at Debo's numbers, it's kind of a Cooper Cup situation where it's 1 year and then everything else is
Yeah.
average. You know, can it be different? Maybe. Um, we just don't know if it's going to be different for him. I just don't think he's the same receiver when
Yeah.
he got that big contract. And I think he was used different too at that point because there was no Christian McCaffrey there. So when you take that and you say McCaffrey's here, I think he's still doing about his usual 800 to 900 yards, which is to me is not. I mean, he's a tier four. He's in the right group,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of guys I take before him.
Yeah.
Now, there's one guy we didn't talk about. That's won the new contract, and his name is T. Higgins.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing with T. Higgins? Now, if you're at a draft, now let's play a game. If you're drafting at the moment, right now, and T. Higgins on the board, are you drafting T. Higgins or are you letting him stay on the board? Even though you don't know,
Where we at on the board?
it don't matter. Just say he's available. He's
I mean,
available in
he's
some
available in
round.
the first round.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
the first round, but like just say round seven, whatever. Round seven, round eight. T Higgins is sitting there. You don't know the situation with the contract. And do you take a chance and draft him and say, you know what? I'm gonna just hope for the best and he signs or gets traded somewhere, or do you just leave him on the board?
I take it. Last year was not a good T. Higgins year.
Okay.
Needless to say, I take a
Mm-hmm.
chance on him. I was hoping I actually picked up T. Higgins in a trade in a dynasty league on the hopes that he was going to end up getting traded. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins is like 28th, 29th wide receiver coming off the board. You're gonna get him fairly late. Uh, I take a chance at that number. You know, that's yeah. I take a chance at
Okay.
T Higgins. If I see him there, I would say anywhere past the third round is an automatic pickup. Uh, but I hope his situation gets straightened out and resolved a little bit before then. But at this point, well, this is also the reason why I don't like drafting this early. June is too early to draft.
Oh, of course. I mean,
Uh,
you see people drafting early
yeah,
now, and they're holding real drafts,
yeah.
which is insane,
And
by
by
the
the way,
way. But
going back a little bit what Hans talked about, he didn't realize Keaton also it's the second one he didn't realize. Hey, that's why we do these at this time of year because there's so much movement going on. Hey, we're here to
yeah,
help. So don't feel bad if you didn't know. A lot of folks don't know what's happening with these, and so that's why I like this time of year to do these sort of rankings. Why you still waiting for some of that kind of stuff to get straightened out? Because things can move a lot between June and August.
oh, of course,
So
yes,
yeah, we're getting together. By the way, welcome. I saw Carlo popped in also the audience, and let us also say we haven't already. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button for
definitely.
us
Hit
if you
that
haven't
like and
already done
subscribe.
so.
We forget to
Um,
say that sometimes.
yeah, so definitely help us out with that. Um,
Yes.
but I like T Higgins. I
Okay.
think he's still talented. I would like that situation to get resolved, and I also would like for Joe Barrow to stay healthy. Because if that doesn't happen, I think T. Higgins has a repeat of last year, which wasn't
Yeah, I
good.
just and I think T Higgins is I think he's a good receiver. I think he's on the borderline of great. Well, not great, but I think he could be great if he was in a different situation. Um, because
Yeah,
we seen him without Chase, and we seen him be great without Chase.
yeah,
And I
he was the
think
number
that's
one before Chase got there.
yeah,
But
and I think that's the biggest issue with him. He's saying I was the number one before Chase got here. I want to be paid like that. You're never gonna get paid like Chase.
no,
He can't forget that. Now, I don't know why they're hanging on to him. They should have got rid of him 2 years ago on as far as the trade because you can't pay both of them.
yeah. So do it like much like you 49ers out there. You can't pay them both. Hey, we saw what happened with the Chargers when they tried to pay two guys that kind
And
of
both of
money.
them gone
Now
now.
neither one of them's on the team, right?
Yeah. I
so
mean,
yeah,
Philly did it, but we'll see what Philly did. Philly
they
paid
yeah, I say they
they paid Devontae Smith early
yeah.
in his contract, so that's how they can fit that money in there. That really contract ain't gonna hit for another 2 3 years
The Philly
anyway.
GM is a genius. He's
Yeah,
doing
so
his thing like no one else in this league is. So
so let me ask you this, then we can move to the next one. Does Anthony Richardson's anticipation to run too much hinders you from drafting Michael Pittman?
I still draft Michael Pittman, and I think I said before, I still need to see Anthony Richardson, one, stay healthy and
Mm-hmm.
true prove he can be an effective passer in this league.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be big on grabbing a lot of guys from Indianapolis other than the running back, Jonathan Taylor.
tell him.
Wide
Yeah.
receiver is going to be sort of, if they fall to me, I grab them.
Okay.
But otherwise, but if there's a guy who's going to put a big numbers on that offense as from a wide receiver, it is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. So he's the first one I'm willing to take a shot off. Everyone else is going to just be, hey, they're around in the 12th, 13th round. Let me grab this guy. But
Yeah.
yeah. But
That's,
I don't have a lot of confidence uh, um, in Anthony Richardson's passing abilities yet, just because we haven't seen it.
that's true. I agree with you on that. Well, this tier five list, y'all, is
Yeah. By the way,
for
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
we're gonna be moving swiftly through these next two. But go ahead, tier
Yes.
five, get them started.
Jordan Addison, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis, Zay Flowers, Jerry Judy, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Jacoby Myers, Malik Neighbors, Rasheed Rice, Curtis Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Cortland Sutton, Adam Thielen, Christian Watson, Mike Williams. Um, I'm gonna start with, and I think this guy is gonna really do well this year because of a new rule, and I think it is gonna benefit him because he's a special teams guy and
Yeah,
he's a number two. Um, I think Rashid Shaheed is gonna be
nice.
very. He's gonna be a very important piece to that offense because it's no more Michael Thomas there,
Yeah.
and
So
I'm giving away
you
something.
I just want that you're coming around to the Derek Carr belief right now when you say this. By the way.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is with the new kickoff rules,
Uh huh.
they want more kickoffs, right? He's a kick returner, he's a punt
He
returner,
does a lot.
he's a number two receiver. So when you think about that in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
it's always touching the football. And I I try to tell people because I think my age shows as far as fantasy it shows, right? Darren Sproles was the exact same player, but in a different position, right? So Darren Sproles was a kick returner, punt returner, second. Well, I ain't gonna say secondary, but he was a running back, third
Mm-hmm.
down running back, where he got that chance to catch out the backfield. So he would give you targets plus returning plus special teams. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say Shaheed is the number two. He's the primary key returner, primary punt returner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can those that alone makes him a great as a tier 5 makes him a great pickup because he's giving you so much, especially with this list
Mm-hmm.
of either slash rookies, Rasheed Rice,
Right.
who's in trouble, Curtis Samuel. We all know what Curtis Samuel is. Gordon Sutton can't stay healthy. Adam Thielen, he played well last year, but he got
Mm-hmm.
hurt down the line. Kristen Watson can't stay healthy, and Mike Williams, he's a he's a blank man. He's never there on the field,
Yeah.
even though he's there. So it's like out of this list, Rashid Shaheed for me is probably the best one.
I like Shaheed a lot for a lot of the reasons you said. And, after Olave, there's got to be a number 2 guy, and Shaheed's going to be him. And like you say, he does so much in the offense. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of chances for you to get fantasy points. I like Zay Flowers in this list also. Look, we've talked about
Okay.
Lamar throwing the ball and not doing it, but you named the number 2 wide receiver, not Mark Andrews, but named the number 2 wide receiver
Is
for
Zay,
Baltimore.
I thought Zay Flowers was number 1.
Yeah, I know it's it, and I'm saying name the number 2 guy.
I don't even know who the number 3 is, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
So my point being is that, hey, look, we've seen Lamar throw to, he only threw to Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown when it was there. I think Zay Flowers is going to be the guy he throws to because there is no look. What's his name? Devin Duvernay is there.
Please stop.
Rashad Bateman would be there for like 3 weeks before he gets hurt again.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah, Zay Flowers is gonna be that guy just by default. So I think he'll be good. And now, I said, I think I said, I don't remember. I can't remember. You cut me off laughing, but if I didn't get to it, I like Deontay Johnson because I think he's a good number 1. Adam Thielen had a good year in that offense
Yes,
with
he
Bryce
did.
Young. I think Deontay Johnson takes over as the top guy and has an even better year and gets some help to a young Bryce Young there. And I take a gamble. Not an early gamble, but I take a late gamble on Malik Neighbors. They don't have a quarterback, but they also don't have anyone on that team.
What are we talking about
late.
here? No.
And if you're in Dynasty, I take that chance.
Oh gosh.
But no, you're not you don't believe Malik Neighbors can get.
No.
We're at tier 5, man. I'm not
No.
saying.
Oh wait.
We're at tier 5.
I'm not saying I don't believe in Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the quarterback.
Oh, of course not. No.
And the thing is, we have to see Malik Davis might be a good receiver. He may be one of those guys. But the problem with this whole situation,
yeah,
is their quarterbacks stink.
Yeah, they're awful.
Like they stink so bad. Like I mean, you got a $40 million quarterback who they thinking about benching. He may not even start. So that's bad in itself.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
So no, like Malik Davis, I feel bad for him because he went to that team. I think if he would have went somewhere else, he would have
got
been
drafted somewhere else.
Oh gosh, he would have been so much better. But I just feel like no. I mean, I hope he do well. I do, but it's you can't sit here and tell me.
Hey, he and the other rookie they got, what's his name, Hyatt. They've been looking really good in practice.
Practice. We're talking about practice now, okay?
Not the game.
Not the game. We're talking about practice now, people. Practice. I seen the one hand catch that he had in practice, but it's nobody guarding him. What are we talking about here? I mean, come on now.
It's gonna be, look, again, the only logic is there's no one else because who do you know? Sterling Shepard or what's Robinson Wandale? None of these guys are good. Malik Neighbors, the moment they drafted him, became the number 1 wide receiver on that team.
I get that, and I get that, but
hey, even
a bad situation.
Look, hey, Bryce Young managed to get Adam Thielen fantasy football relevant last year, and no one saw that coming because everyone thought Adam Thielen was done and cooked.
He had a first good 5-6 weeks. He was cooking. He was cooking really good, but I'm just saying,
Look,
if you,
at this point, these are just by way of filling guys. And
I
so,
mean, honestly,
yeah,
like Tyler Lockett is still
he's
productive.
still productive. Yeah,
Like, and he's still the number two. So Tyler Lockett is still productive at this point. I mean, I'm more interested to see what Gabe Davis does, and I'm not a Gabe Davis
okay. I'm about to
fan.
say, you're saying that?
No, I'm just saying because Gabe
Yeah,
Davis is different situation. Like it's, I know Gabe Davis sucks. Like
yeah,
that's no if as much about it. It's just he gets missing so much
yeah,
when he's on the field. He doesn't even show up. Same thing with Mike Williams.
yeah. I'm about to
Mike
say he's very much
Williams
Mike
is the same
Williams
thing. I
ish.
mean,
Yeah,
the list is. I mean, I was hoping Rasheed Rice would stop being stupid and get his life together because he's a really good
he's a
receiver.
good receiver.
And
I
I
just
just
can't
think
trust him this year.
no,
Yeah,
he stopped hanging with the wrong people. And then I had to hear about Curtis Samuel for a couple of weeks from somebody we know.
yeah.
And like he was supposed to do some work like Curtis Samuel. We've all known what Curtis Samuel can do, but keep it moving.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know.
Hey, let's say welcome Nita to the show. I guess Purple Rain went off, so she's able to join us.
Okay.
Said Ravens don't need a number 2 or 3. Hey, King Henry, we all love him, but you gotta be if you're
Gotta
gonna
throw the
pass in this,
football.
if you're gonna win in this league, you gotta be able to throw the ball. So hopefully someone can step up. But yeah,
Oh,
Say
that's terrible.
Flowers, that's the guy.
Okay.
That's the guy.
You
Yeah, let's hit
you
this.
draft them then.
at this at this point, yeah, I would draft him at this point when we get to the tier. If I'm gonna pick a tier 5 guy,
Okay.
let's hit this last tier because there's really not a whole lot to say about a bunch of these players.
No.
Let's go. Our last tier of wide receivers, Keon Coleman. If you want somebody from Buffalo to take a shot at, he's hey, at the very least you have the most entertaining rookie
That is
on
true.
your fantasy
That is
football
definitely
team.
true.
We got Jahan Dotson coming in for Washington. Romeo Dobbs. Josh Downs actually is kind of intriguing. I don't know about that quarterback. Again, that quarterback situation in Indianapolis has me a little bit, but Josh Downs hit a productive first year. Quentin Johnston, who's suddenly the number 1, maybe, in the Chargers. Him along with Josh
No.
Palmer. Lad McConkey, another rookie who could
Oh
be.
God.
Lad McConkey reminds me of Hunter Renfro. Going to
That's
my rookie at
is that a
first
good
and
thing?
second year. Hey, for the first 2 years, third and Renfro was the truth, and Lad
Okay.
McConkey in the middle could be that kind of guy.
I got you.
We have Adonai Mitchell. This is like the all Indianapolis tier, so that kind of lets you know what we think about them. We also have Rome Odunze. The Rome also got he just got drafted to a situation where there's just so many mouths to feed. I don't know how much.
Uh,
I don't know how much he's gonna get. I mentioned Josh Palmer earlier. Khalil Shakir in Buffalo. JSN, who might be a threat to Tyler Lockett, but not from what we saw last year.
nope.
Brian Thomas Jr., Jamison Williams, and Xavier Worthy, who you mentioned earlier, could end
Mm-hmm.
up being the number 1. He's the new Tyreek Hill, and somehow Buffalo traded down to allow
So
the
stupid.
Chiefs to
What are we
get him.
talking
I
about?
don't even understand what the logic was there, but these are your last tier of guys. Take them as they are. They're not.
Yeah.
They're tier
I, I,
6. Yeah.
uh,
Who do you like the
Jameson
most in this group?
Williams. I think Jameson Williams is probably the only one,
Uh huh.
maybe. Um, uh, my question is, who's going to be the receiver for the Chargers? I mean, which one of them going to step up and be that guy? Because Palmer can't stay healthy. That's just
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson can't catch a cold.
Hey, he's supposed to be much better in the
Yeah, that's
year
what they
2.
say.
They
Okay.
say.
That's what they say.
I'm not putting my fantasy hopes on it.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. And McConkey, I don't know enough.
Hunter
Uh,
Renfro, I just told you. That's your
and
that's your comp.
that's because that's your homer that's coming out because he was a Raider. Stop it. Come on, man. Is he still on the Raiders, by the
No,
way?
he's unemployed at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Hoping
Uh,
someone can pick him up.
Okay, I got you. Just I wanted to ask the question,
Yeah,
just for the
yeah, nah,
people to
nah.
know. Okay, I got you. Keenan Coleman is entertaining,
He's very
and
entertaining.
I watched him at. I'm a Florida State fan,
Mm.
so I watched him at Florida State. He was good at Florida State. Um, that could be an interesting one because all the other receivers, Shakur, no.
Yeah.
Eh. I don't know. I think Coleman could be all right because they got to throw to somebody. They can't throw to both of the tight ends all the time
Or
or
can they?
Cooks
We'll find out.
or Cooks. I
Yeah.
mean, somebody got to get thrown out of the field. Though. They got to throw the ball down the field somewhere. It's
Yeah.
like the Chargers. Like, who is going to be the guy?
I think these guys are all in tier 6 because nobody knows the answer to that question. You see all the Buffalo wide receiver guys out here. You see all the Indianapolis Colts guys down here. You see all the Chargers guys out here. For that very point, we don't know who.
Don't know.
There's so many question marks. Even JSN it's a bunch of hype. People had really big expectations for him last year, and I feel sort of like him how I do about Rome. He just went into a situation where you're no better than the third option on the team. Uh, so he's kind of has
Yeah,
to wait his turn. And for me, for fantasy football
that's
purposes,
terrible.
nah, I'm good on
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna pass.
He said, "No, I'm good."
Yeah,
I'm good.
I
How you
didn't
feel
really
about?
I didn't put a lot of stock in JSN last year because we talked about he was in the worst situation. Of course, we also thought Quentin Johnson was in the best situation. And that didn't
And
that didn't end up
see, but
working out.
that wasn't.
But
See,
yeah,
but that wasn't.
opportunity was
That
there.
wasn't.
He just couldn't live up to it.
That's what I'm about to say. That wasn't a situation fault. It
Yeah,
was a
that was him.
catch the football. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I mean, he literally dropped wide open passes.
Wide
Like,
open.
this is wide open. Like, what do we? And the thing is, he had the opportunity when Josh Palmer went down.
He
Keenan
had
Allen wasn't there.
everyone went
Mike
down.
Williams.
Like
Everybody
we
went
talked about that.
down.
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are known for getting hurt, so one of them will get injured, and he'll have a chance to be the two. He had the chance to be the one because even like you said,
One.
Judge Palmer,
Palmer,
everybody on the wide receiving side was hurt.
bruh.
Nothing.
It still couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Just don't understand it. Just I don't. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I think honestly, but I think the best person out of this group probably is Jameson Williams. Jameson
for
Williams
that
and
matter,
Williams.
Jameson.
Those are
Only
two.
thing is that the similar situation where there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. Uh,
I,
yeah,
I think he's the number. He's the walking number two. He's
he's the
clearly
wide
number
receiver
two right
number
now.
2. I give you that.
Yeah, yeah,
But as far as options on the offense, he's probably number 4 at best.
that's true. I mean, but if you're telling me you picking this late and these are the
Yeah,
guys that's up to you,
hey,
I'd take him
all of
any
these
day of the
guys
week.
are worth a shot, but he's worth a good shot because like he has the
Yeah,
talent. And between being injured his first year and gambling his second year, he hasn't really had a
yeah.
chance to show what he can do.
He
So
showed
hey,
a little
a
bit when
little
he
bit,
came back.
a little
But
bit, but
I think if you're
the,
gonna take a chance on anybody, you
there's
gotta be him or
there's a
Worthy.
lot of potential there with him. I actually like Worthy off a potential standpoint, but we thought Sky Moore was gonna have a lot of potential, and that never worked out. So hey, the thing about
Yeah,
potential is it could be all up in smoke. Um,
yeah.
let's see. Yeah,
I don't.
there's not a
Yeah, I
lot to
just
like
don't.
on this.
No.
This is gambles. It's all gambles, and I'm willing to gamble on Keon Cole. I'm gonna go situations and say like
Hmm.
Keon Coleman. I like his situation because
Yeah,
those wide receivers are complete garbage in
he
Buffalo.
should. He
So he
should
could
be
be
the
the
number
yeah he could
one
easily
just based off of
yeah
size
yeah
and height. Because think about it, Josh Allen, like, he liked to throw down the field, and he's a what 6'2", 6'3"
mm-hmm
size, and he's a bigger receiver. So I think he has the. He could be, I guess you want to say, a quote unquote number one
yeah
receiver for Buffalo
or at
because the
least
rest.
1B kind of guy. So
But
yeah,
be the who?
Curtis
Don't you
Samuel for the 5 weeks he's
don't
healthy.
you say it? Don't you saying.
Look,
No.
it's tight end. It's the tight end show, but we need somebody. So Keon Coleman is my number one bet to be the number one.
I'm with you
And for
on that, but don't give me this one B. Don't give me this one B with no Curtis Samuel. Okay,
Khalil
we've
Shakir.
seen.
He had a couple of good weeks. Literally.
Really, you really are we? Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
there's not a lot there. So yeah,
oh
I'm with you.
gosh,
Keon Coleman all the way, but I like Xavier Worthy for the same thing because there's more
yeah,
talented wide receivers there. But Rashee Rice, we don't know what his situation is going to be. Hollywood Brown has never been Hollywoodish, for
yeah.
real. So there's a chance Xavier Worthy could step up. So you're gambling. If you want to gamble, you could also gamble Brian Thomas Jr. He's has some potential.
No,
But
I mean if you go do that, you might well go to Jahan Dotson.
yeah, I don't
I'm
know
just
how I
saying.
believe about the quarterbacks. He's a runner, and you know me. If you're a runner, you're not a passer. So
If you're running, you're not fast. If you run too much, I'm not picking you.
you run. Hey, that's my drill.
Oh gosh,
So,
that is funny.
but
Uh, I mean, other
but
than that,
that's it. That's the list. Um,
that's
please
it,
feel
people.
free, audience, to let us know. I don't see who we possibly could have missed out. I mean, there's other wide receivers and tight ends we didn't mention, but don't try to tell me they're good. so, so
Mm.
maybe they could have been in that tier 6 grouping. I'm not gonna be mad at you, but hey, let us know anyway, and let us know what you think about the rankings. Who do we overlook? Who are we sleeping on? Who are you looking forward to drafting in your things? Now that we're going through all the major positions, the next thing we're gonna be doing is our mock draft. So
Let's
we're
go.
gonna put these tiered lists to work.
And it's
And
getting close, man. It's getting close
see
to
what we do.
fantasy
It's
season,
getting
man.
close.
It's starting to get close. It's
June is
less than
halfway
90
over,
days.
so we got to just get through July. We'll have that Hall of Fame game coming up, and then
Yeah.
get through those preseason games, and we got football September
And
5th, I think,
you gonna see us every week
every
then.
week. So
Every week. So we're back in another 2 weeks.
yeah,
So we're back in another two
we'll
weeks.
be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have
Two
something
weeks.
for y'all. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
2 weeks.
everybody that joined in. Sticking
Like and
through all
subscribe,
these tiers.
please.
Hit
Like and
like, hit
subscribe.
subscribe. Tell your friends to tune in. Really appreciate you guys being with us. Great show because you guys made it great. Thanks, Hans.
Definitely.
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. Hit us up. You see our social. I can't point. There it is. Social
Yeah.
media is up there. Hit us up with your questions if there's something we left out. Put a comment in the chat here, and we'll get back with you. That's it.
Peace.
All right. Peace out. Oh, by the way, before we peace out completely,
Uh-huh.
the Celtics are kicking that Mavs butt. So
Really?
oh, did they come back?
They came back dramatically. They went on a run. So
Let me see.
Mavs are
Oh
only
no, let me
down
look
by
at. Oh no,
3.
they're not kicking their butt anymore.
They're only down by 3.
Oh, they're okay. I
I
looked
told
like
you.
5 minutes ago, and they were getting spanked.
Yeah, they were.
So okay,
Dallas went on a 20-2 run or something
20
like
and
that.
okay. Our producer has been following more closely. Okay, I'm glad because I was like, how are y'all getting run out of your own building? So hey,
Mm.
we'll find out whether they pulled it off. But hey,
We'll see.
thanks for the show. Later, everybody. See you, Carla.
Later.
See you, Anita. See you, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.